you've heard this a couple of times now, but I was kind of down and out several years back. I had a family business fall apart, so my financials and my family fell apart to some degree. My girlfriend broke up with me. I went into what I'm pretty sure is low-grade, undiagnosed depression. And I had all of this anxiety about it because I've done some great things in my past.
You're probably embarrassed.
Totally embarrassed. And I moved in with my parents, which made it even worse. And I'm like, here I am in my early 30s. I've been successful in some things, and now I'm totally down and out. Well, what do I do? And my mom said a lot of things to me when I was little. And one of them that stuck out was the way out is through.
Which I love, for the record.
Right. It turns out it's actually Robert Frost. It's not a Sterling Hawkins mom quote. But it just kept coming to mind. And just randomly, I got this email blast for a conference in Singapore. And I was terrified to speak in public. I was a little bit terrified even to be in public with all this stuff going on. And so I literally hit the respond button and I wrote, why don't you have me speak? Best, Sterling. Now, I don't know if the stars aligned or I got lucky or maybe the conference director was just in a good mood that day, but he wrote back to me and we end up getting on the phone and having this conversation. And I tell him, well, what I want to talk about, which is how startups are successful, what it takes to be successful. And we go back and forth and we agree on a budget for the whole thing. All of a sudden, like, I've agreed to speak on this big stage in Singapore to like thousands of people. And I'm like,
holy,
what did I just do, you know?
Right?
And so I went into like this intense training for it. I went to Toastmasters, I practiced, I wrote my speech, I practiced the deck again. And I wouldn't exaggerate to say I did it hundreds of times before I delivered it.
Wow.
And terrified when I got up on the stage, but it was so ingrained in me that it just came through me. And it turns out I did a pretty okay job. It was voted best of the whole show.
Oh, wow.
And the conference director put me in touch with all of his conference director friends. And they're like, well, you got to have this guy. And all of a sudden it turned into a thing. And well, here I am today. I think it's important to look at innovation as something bigger than just technology, because sometimes it gets looped in this whole world of, well, I've got an innovative cell phone and we're implementing this new tool and we've got this new computer. And how I look at innovation is a significant positive change. So it could be technology, but it could also be your financials or personal relationship or team performance for all it matters. And the key distinction here is that we're not talking just about ideas, like a good idea, because you could have an innovative idea. What we're talking about, or what I'm talking about, is realized innovation, where that idea and new action come together to create something new in the world. And there is, like you were saying, a lot of biology behind it. I mean, our brains have been programmed to keep us safe, which evolutionarily is genius, right? Avoid the things that are dangerous, the bear, the crocodile, the falling rocks, and we survive.
Yeah.
But in the modern world, most of us aren't dealing with those things anymore.
No, we're not being chased by tigers.
Right, but we have the same biological response to it. Speaking in public, for example, right? You get that same like, oh my God, I'm gonna die feeling. And when we embrace that discomfort versus run from it, it's almost like opening up the throttle on an engine. It's where ideas and new action can come together. And it's why, for example, I think I said this in my TED Talk, athletes can perform by as much as 12% above where they train when they're competing in the Olympics or in some big race, because it's the pressure that lets them perform at a higher level than they can otherwise.